Hi, ladies. We are on to day 12 now, and we are going to talk about the follow-up. The infamous, so important. I mean, everything before it is super important too. You got to send the message initially, but the follow-up is like by far the most important part of your sales and your recruiting, right? Because it goes for both. If someone says, I want a color, but then never follows up, and you're thinking, oh, I have this set aside for her. I know she mentioned it, but I don't want to be pushy. Or someone had liked my post about, being able to pay off a credit card, but I messaged her once, we chatted, and I don't want to be pushy because she said she'll think about it. You guys, you need to follow up. You need to continue following up. It is not a one-hit wonder. It is most certainly a 2, 3, 4, 5, up to like 8 times how many times you're going to follow up with someone, right? It takes a bit of time for people to think about, do I want that color, or do I want to join, this business? Am I ready for it? So you got to give them time to think about it. Is it the right time for their life? So it's up to you. It's up to you to reach out to them and to ask if they've thought more about it or if they're still interested. It is your job, not their job, to follow up with you. So never, ever, ever, ever prejudge someone on whether this business is for them, and never, ever, ever leave it up to them to follow up with you, because it's just not going to happen, right? So basically, everyone needs like 3+ exposures to something to purchase. I mean, I'm talking from when you put something in your Amazon cart, right? There's a reason why then when you move over to Facebook, it's over there on the sidebar. You're like, wait, I just looked at that on Amazon last night. And it's because it's exposing you to it again. You almost kind of forgot about it, right? You put it in your Amazon cart and then or even just looked at it, and then you forgot about it, went on with your life, because, we all build up an Amazon cart and then don't pull the trigger right away, right? Who adds stuff to their cart that they think they want to buy or have intentions of buying, but you just haven't done it yet. Same situation. They're interested. They just haven't done it yet. It wasn't the right time, right? Or they didn't have enough motivation at that point. But if you keep seeing that sidebar and you keep seeing the images, eventually you cave and you purchase the item. It's the same thing. If you keep getting messages from that person whose job it is to follow up with you, eventually you're like, okay, now I'm ready, right? Same thing. It works not just in network marketing and MLMs in the business that we're in. It works for everything, you guys. So don't feel bad about it, because you're being sold every single day on things you don't even realize. So it's not like it's shady. It's just part of the process, and it's just human nature, right? Most of us are cautious and don't jump the gun. I don't think most people have thought about it. Even if they do message you, if you're like me and I signed up without even trying the product, and I was like, all right, I'm ready. I want to do this business. I'm going to get going. I had thought about it for a good 2 weeks, right? I had been in my sponsor's shop. I was looking, I was following, I was seeing her success, people who were joining her team, and then I jumped on. Those were all exposures, right? It wasn't her private messaging me necessarily, but also the fact that, like I keep telling you, you have to post business opportunity posts, business growth, milestones, things like that in your shop, because that's what happened to me. I saw those milestones and things she was hitting and achieving in her business, and those were all exposures to me. So she didn't necessarily have to message me, but I'm more on the proactive side of most people, right? Because I had previously done a network marketing business, so I knew what I was getting myself into. If you haven't, you definitely need more of the conversation and follow up to understand it. Of course, I grilled my sponsor on what's a compensation package, how much is a minimum, yada, yada, yada. So there was quite a bit of follow up. It wasn't necessarily her saying, hey, have you thought more about it? It was more answering all my questions over and over again. So you send someone a message, they liked your post or something, you sent them a message, you said, hey girl, have you ever thought about joining this business? You had a little initial conversation, and then it might have fizzled out, right? Or they said, I'll think about it. Or you put it in your agenda because they said, oh, I can sign up at the end of October when yada yada is done, or something like that. Or in January after the holidays, whatever it may be. Then you have noted this down in your notebook, and you create some kind of tracking system that works for you. I like to highlight mine, whatever. I come up with a new system every single time. depending on how I'm working. Some people do it electronically, some people just do it in their notebooks. But then you simply send a message like, hey girl, how are things going recently? We haven't talked in a while. They didn't have to necessarily ask, have you thought about the business, even though that's going to come into the conversation eventually and you're going to ask her. But you can start that way. I mean, I have no shame in saying, girlfriend, we chatted last month. You said you were interested. Right now, fast start or whatever's going on, something exciting about the business. Have you thought more about it? Now is the time. Are you ready? So I will blatantly message and follow up with the business part. But if, we're good friends, I might just talk about, hey, we haven't talked in a while. How are things? And I'll say, oh, while we're at it, have you thought about, the business opportunity? So it's pretty simple. The follow-up messages don't have to be overwhelming. But when you start getting into the conversation, what you want to be sure you do is if they say they join a sneak peek, so you've thought more about it, you put them in the sneak peek. When you put them in there, schedule your follow-up then. So make a time with them when you're going to follow up. So you say, hey girlfriend, if I put you in the sneak peek group, would you have about, 40 minutes over the next 2 days to watch all the videos and then get back with me? And she says, yes, yes, I can do that. And you say, fantastic, I'll get you added in the group. So I have either Thursday at 4 o'clock or Friday at 9 a.m. to chat about the videos. Which one works better for you? And basically, you're going to set up a time right then to chat. Getting on the phone is definitely best because you can talk about your questions right away, right? In person, you can talk about the questions, get them answered as she's thinking about them. But if it has to be over chat too, because I work a 9 to 5, so I do a lot of mine, but I make sure I message them at that 9 o'clock time, right? Most people won't always respect a chat conversation time, I will say, because especially if they're working too and you're trying to do follow up then, because who knows, they might be called into a meeting and then they can't chat. But if you have a phone call, chances are they're going to pick a time after work or on the weekends that works for them, right? And where you say, when won't the kids be around so we can chat just for quick 15 minutes or whatever. So set up a follow up time. And if you're in chat questions and you're doing your follow up via chat, and this can be month after month consecutively. This is not a one-hit wonder. Make sure you ask open-ended questions. Don't just say, did you like the videos? They could just say yes or no. What did you like best about the videos? Then they're going to have to say something more likely than yes or no, right? So ask open-ended questions so that you have material and content to go from to keep the conversation going or to talk about their objections, things like that. So ask, what's your number one concern about joining our team? Do you have any last minute questions that I can answer for you? I love to ask that question before they're about to join because they truly want to make sure they have all the information that they need. So I love that question. Do you have any last minute questions before we get you signed up? So that's the exciting part, is that when you do follow up and ask them all these questions, there's a high likelihood eventually they're going to join your team and you can ask that question, which is super fun. So on to the feeling pushy part. Raise your hand if you've ever said or thought, I don't want to be pushy because I'm in sales. I don't want to make them feel awkward. I don't want to be that girl. Those things. Who's thought about it, right? From time to time? Well, first off, you're on an amazing team and we teach building relationships more than anything, right? We're not all about just the dollar. Everyone wants to build their team. Everyone wants to have more sales. But we stand behind the fact that this business is about relationships and making connections with people and loving on them and giving them more information and, go givers sell more and all that good stuff. So we have great ethics and morals behind our business. We're not trying to be schemy, right? Our team's not like that. That's not what we teach. And that's not what this business is about. So you're not going to be successful that way in the long term. So we would never teach it that way, right? So get over it. We are not pushy. And think about it this way. Whenever you have a doctor's appointment and you set it up, whenever they call to remind you, and said that mine sends me an email like a month before because you schedule them like 6 months out or something like that. And then they give you a phone call a day or two before. Who doesn't love those phone calls and the reminders? Yeah, totally, because I always forget about them. It's the same thing. You are following up with them. You're giving them that reminder to think about the business again. You're giving them that reminder to have the conversation going again. So you're not offended by when the hair salon calls or the dentist. So people aren't going to be offended if you follow up with them, right? I've had lots of people follow up about lots of things. I mean, I buy candles from people and wrapping paper and makeup before this business, and I support a lot of MLMs. I have no problem with them following up, even if I'm not interested in their product, right? The time has passed, but I'm either like, no, now's not the time, or if that, it's not good for me. But I appreciate the fact that they followed up with me, right? Especially when they give me the best deal. So I love when people follow up with something saying the fact that we have the fast start and you say, hey girl, new promotion in the house, you can save money. I love when people tell me about saving money too, right? So think about yourself in that concept. Wouldn't you like if someone reached out to you, reminded you, and told you about a sale or a promotion? Heck yeah. Think about this statistic. Get this. 44% of people give up after one follow-up. Almost half of people who have a business or are selling something or recruiting or any effort like that give up after one. But get this, 80% of sales are made after 5 follow-ups. 5 follow-ups. Half of people give up after one, but the majority of sales are made after 5 follow-ups. Mind blown, right? This tells you you have to follow up. It is part of the process. It is so critical. The fact that you're going to do this process, this recruiting process, and all these posts and live videos and invites over and over again means that that follow-up process is in there month after month. So girls I might have invited in March, you best believe I followed up in April. I followed up in May. I followed up in June. Those people just stay on your follow-up list, right? You might not, now that my follow-up list has grown so extensive because I've invited so many people, I might not follow up with every single one every single month. But I make sure now that it's been, a 9-month period, I make sure I follow up with them every 2 to 3 months, as much as I can get to them, because some of the people on this team are ones who joined after being in 4 sneak peeks. 4 sneak peeks. That means they went through 4 months of deliberating, right? And multiple messages in between. So I can guarantee you there was like 20 follow-up messages and 4 sneak peeks. Then she finally joined and she's doing amazing, right? But she had to get in the right mindset. She had to talk to her husband, get his approval. She had to get the funding that she needed to buy the product. And she's a teacher, so the summer was the optimal time for her. So there's a season for everybody. Just because they say no once or go quiet or don't respond to your message does not mean that they've completely thrown the idea off the table, right? That's not it at all. It's that they might be waiting for a certain time frame. They might be waiting for the money. They might be waiting to take the plunge, just in general, to have the confidence to do it. So follow up is key, you guys. Create some kind of system in your notebook where, like I said, you write down the names and the reasons they said yes or no about this business. And then sometimes I put like a check mark down the side, and 1 month it's black, 1 month it's red. I have all these kinds of markers and stuff to be able to color code my notebook. But come up with a system that works for you. But follow up is key, right? Like 1% of people are ever going to say yes on the first message. Remember, 80% after 5. So keep that in mind. Do your follow-ups month after month. The fortune and the team and the crown in this business are built in the follow-up. All right, you guys, have a great night and think about that one.